It's that time for the final X-Men review that we have so far. That is Storm. Hello and welcome to the channel. My name is Nelson and this is Nelson All Over Cards. Today we are talking about Storm, who is one of the newer Marvel Champions heroes that we have received. She's been out for a couple of weeks now and I've gotten the time to play with her. I played through her in 4 different aspects and I'm currently in the middle of a Rise of Red Skull campaign run with her, and so I've got a couple of games under my belt and now we're here to talk about her. Storm has a mediocre alter ego, so I think this is kind of offset with all of these supports that we've seen for the X-Men in their alter ego form, with all of the gray support cards that we have, giving them a reason to come down to alter ego. But outside of maybe some healing, Storm really doesn't have any need to go down to alter ego. She does have a setup ability called I Feel a Storm Coming, which says that you choose a support from your weather deck and put it into play. Now, we will talk about the weather deck because her entire kit does revolve around it, and that is what makes her so unique. But let's talk about her hero side first. On her hero side, she has a very sad 1-2-1 stat line, but with some of her upgrades, she can get it up to a 2-2-2 stat line, putting her in line with a lot of our other heroes. Her weather control ability says that once per turn, she can change the weather from her set-aside weather deck and activate the special on it. Now that I've teased it enough, let's dive in and talk about this weather deck. So the weather deck is a very unique mechanic because you're basically creating an environment for the table that affects every single character in play. That's allies, that's heroes, villains, and minions. All of them all get a special benefit now if Storm's at the table. And it can have some very long-term effects on the game state if you are not in the correct weather, which I know very, very intimately. You can lose pretty quickly if you have that wrong weather out there. Each one of these weather has a passive benefit as well as a special ability that you can activate via her cards or whenever you use her weather manipulation ability. The first one that we're going to talk about is Clear Skies. It gives everybody Stalwart, and the special is being able to draw a card. I love flipping into this when I'm already stunned and confused, and that just clears the card. So if I got stunned in the villain phase, all I need to do is use my ability to switch to Clear Skies, clears that stun or confused, and then allows me to draw a card. Now this can get tricky if maybe the villain or some minions are also stunned and confused and can really shut down that strategy, because once you flip to Clear Skies, all of theirs get wiped too. Up next we have Hurricane. This one gives us Retaliate 1, or every single character Retaliate 1, which can get pretty bananas actually. And then the special ability is you can remove 2 threat from a scheme. So this is kind of her threat mitigation, threat helper card in her weather deck. Up next is the attack one, Thunderstorm. Oof, yeah, Thunderstorm is crazy. Thunderstorm gives everybody +1 attack, and whenever you flip to it or activate that special ability, you get to deal 2 damage. Thunderstorm is how you can lose so quickly and how you can win so quickly with Storm. I ran through, who was that? Zola. It was Zola, where I had Thunderstorm out. I thought I was going to be able to roll into a win, and basically 2 minions hit the table with Quick Strike and killed me immediately. And they may have done that without the +1 attack, but the +1 attack definitely didn't help. The last one in the weather deck is her Blizzard. This one is the opposite of Thunderstorm. It gives everyone -1 attack. And then the special on this one is you choose a non-elite minion, and then you blank out their text box until the end of the round. This actually comes in handy very frequently, especially with some of these when defeated abilities and all of these like nasty minions that we've started to see. If we can find, as long as they're non-elite, we can blink that text box, kill them without triggering that when defeated ability. I'm not sure if it comes as a huge surprise, but the rest of her kit kind of revolves around this weather mechanic. Her Weather Goddess event is a 0-cost card that allows you to swap and resolve the special. So you're able to basically get 2 switches in the weather, which can set up some really cool combos. And then a lot of the rest of her kit is a benefit, but then gets a boosted benefit depending on what weather is out there. So for example, Torrential Rain is a 2-cost for a 3-threat mitigation, which is pretty mediocre, but if Hurricane is in play, you get to resolve its special, which is 2 more threat. So that becomes a 2 for 5, which is actually above the cost curve. We see this mirrored with the Lightning Bolt, which is a 3 for 8, or if Thunderstorm is out there, then 2 extra. That's a ton of damage. What I like doing with Lightning Bolt is switching into Thunderstorm, dealing 2 damage, playing Lightning Bolt, dealing 8, and then resolving special, 12 damage for that, and then everyone's at a +1. And that Storm is so effective at kind of rushing down the villain when she's ready to do so. And it's really kind of revolves around having this Lightning Bolt in your hand. And then there are a couple other ones like Flash Freeze, which is a defense event and plays off the Blizzard. And Flash Freeze is actually really cool. So it's when the villain attacks you, they and all minions get -3 attack. And then if Blizzard's in play, you get to resolve the blinking text box ability. I'm in love with Storm. I think she is so very good. She works really well in solo, which was a little bit of a concern of mine, and she does work much better than I thought. I love how puzzly this can get and how you need to make sure you're manipulating and putting the correct weather out there for the villain turn and then also gaining benefits during your turn. And it is just a puzzle I really enjoy. I have not played her in multiplayer, but this is a solo review. But I am very excited to try her in multiplayer. I have a game night coming up here in about a week that I'm going to bring Storm to. Some of the basic cards that I like to slot in for my Storm decks, really there's only one to talk about outside of all the X-Men supports and all of that good stuff that I'm just not filling this video with, and that is Deft Focus. Deft Focus reduces the cost of the next superpower you play by 1. 7 out of her 15 cards can benefit from this cost reduction, and that is right in that sweet spot where Deft Focus is an excellent include for Storm. Alrighty, let's dive into the aspects. So we're going to rank the aspects in order from least effective to most effective, and then once I do get to my favorite aspect, I will call that out, and let's just dive into it. So in 4th place, we have Justice. So Justice, Hurricane helps a ton with this threat removal, and she can be really effective at removing threat, and so damage cards like Pivotal Moment are really interesting, and then you can tag that on with a Thunderstorm, but really Justice does not synergize with her kit as well as it does with a lot of other heroes, and a lot of the other aspects synergize with Storm significantly more. And so that's why it's in 4th place. In 3rd place is Protection. So right before this video, I guess like a couple days before this video, this was 4th on my list. When I did my hero spotlight and I played through the 4 aspects with her, Protection was at the bottom. And that's before I tried out the deck. It's raining multiple men from Villain Theory that's on Marvel CDB. It's probably on the front page right now. And this kind of changed the way I approach Protection. What this is it's spamming multiple man, and because Thunderstorm affects every single ally onto the table, a turn 1 drop of multiple man, which if you play 1 copy of multiple man, you effectively get 3 copies of multiple man, changes that from a 3 damage to a 6 damage turn 1, as well as 3 blocks, or you can utilize it for 12 damage, and it's insane. It's just another way of looking at Protection. I built it around kind of using Blizzard to reduce everyone's attack, and then getting my damage from like Flow Like Water and all of that good stuff. The 1 defense kind of offset a lot of the perfect defense builds I was going for, and so creating this multiple man deck from Villain Theory made me look at it a different way, and actually was really, really, really effective. It's a lot of damage, it's a lot of blockers, and I think we won in like 3 turns against, it was against Crossbones, who's not the hardest villain, but it's a really effective deck, and I'd highly recommend you check it out. In 2nd place, we have Aggression, which is my favorite aspect to play with Storm. This is where we start to get into some of the silly ally swarm stuff. So with multiple man, we had that, but there's not a lot of support to beefing up the attacks, or there's not a lot of really excellent attackers in Protection that we do have in Aggression, and Aggression also gives us access to Boot Camp. So Boot Camp plus Thunderstorm gives everyone a +2, all your allies at least a +2 attack, and we can get some dumb stuff going here. I don't really know how much more I need to say, but with the Aggression allies already having a pretty good attack, as well as adding 2 on top of that, allies can get up to 4 to 5 attack pretty easily and just go to town. She is very good at rushing that villain. If you have a Lightning Bolt in your hand, stage 3, stage 2 of the villain does not stand a chance. You can flip and kill pretty easily. And that leads us to the best aspect with Storm, which is Leadership, and kind of the same vein as Aggression. All the weather effects affect all of the allies on the table. as well as any other heroes, but looking at it from a solo perspective, it's affecting all the allies, and leadership has the tools that you need to be successful with allies. So you can either run an ally swarm, you can do a Voltron deck where you're pumping up one ally, and that +1 attack does go a long way. So that +1 attack can be spammed using like command teams and ways to ready your allies to get a lot of mileage out of your allies and just do a significant amount of damage. Leadership is really good with Storm. I prefer playing with the aggression just because I think it's a little bit more fun, but it's a very, very effective way to play Storm is with the blue aspect. So they voted Storm in an A tier with not an insignificant amount of people voting for S tier, which is pretty cool. When I saw Storm, I was kind of worried about how she would function, but they nailed it. They have just done such a good job with all of the X-Men heroes. I have been so impressed with that. My overall ranking, I'm gonna drop her in as an A tier, and she's gonna go right behind Nova. Yeah, she was really good solo. She has the damage potential. She has ways to kind of handle the entire board, and I was kind of worried about that and how the benefits with only one player at the table are the benefits that you're getting from the weather going to be benefiting the villain more than they are the one hero at the table, and I didn't really find that. I think there probably is just a little bit, well, no, I'm not gonna say more nuance. I think there's a different nuance on picking the weather for the solo play versus multiplayer play, and with multiplayer I do probably think it's a little bit harder to find that perfect weather, whereas solo it is pretty easy, or not easy, I mean, it's not easy at all. It's a little bit more straightforward to kind of see the path of, okay, if I switch into Thunderstorm now, what are the long-term effects of that when it does hit the villain turn? We're very happy with Storm. I thought that she was incredibly fun. She did not disappoint. I loved her in solo, and I cannot wait to play her in multiplayer. Thank you all so very much for hanging out on the Storm review. If you enjoyed the content, if you could give this video a like and go ahead and subscribe to the channel, it goes a long way in helping promote the channel and just continue to support what I do, and I appreciate you. Yeah, I think that's it. I am going to be diving back into some of the older legacy heroes here soon, so if you want to have a say in who I play next, there's a link down below in the video description that you can vote on the next hero that we play. Until next time, thanks so very much for hanging out. I appreciate you. Have a fantastic holiday season. If you do celebrate them, I hope it's wonderful. See you around. Peace.